A thread by Soul War. 4. 4 days until V-Day. The silent war may go loud for about 72 hours after Trump's election night victory, as President Trump dismantles the Antifa machine they've been assessing, studying, and monitoring for over 4 years. Reread that. 4 years. Americans are talking about post-election violence as the radical left either try to pummel President Biden into submission or an epic tantrum of wild violence at being denied a pathway to their shiny Marxist revolutionary toy. President Trump is going to wreck them by November 15th. Yes, he was waiting to be reelected. Yes, lives were destroyed and even lost during the insurrection. Yes, Trump still had to wait before acting decisively because he's not a fucking king and he needed abandoned Democrats' votes to achieve a historic mandate to justify what's next. What's next? The gloves come off. Thousands of names, faces, and crimes have been compiled. Many investigations underway or completed, warrants sealed, awaiting activation. Timing. Antifa threaten Andy No because he publishes their mugshots, and that worries them. They're insane. DOJ knows who they are, what crimes they've committed, and whom they're being trained by. They have all of it. So trolling and doxing Andy is useless, but inflicting themselves on others is why they became Antifa. President Trump's First Step Act is freeing up federal prison space. Now, you know why. Not only was it a good and just idea to reverse an injustice done by Democrats, it allows us to sock away for decades the true malcontent leadership of the forces of chaos roaming our streets. Thousands of cautionary tales are about to be made. Democrat mayors, governors, and DAs will continue to smile and smile at an America they despise as they refuse to jail violent repeat offenders. But as AG Barr and the DOJ begin slamming prison doors on the Democrats' problem children in record numbers, watch cracks appear in their facade. By mid-December, as the newly re-elected and overwhelmingly mandated President Trump encourages Americans to embrace the Christmas spirit, those trapped in deep blue states will break their invisible chains and regain their American liberty, as the violently deranged are rounded up. As we head into the new year, basking off the glow of that human warmth and reconciliation, our enemies will try to re-spark rioting and violence at every turn. But since Americans have now seen and experienced the true face of the Chinese Communist Party-backed Democrat Party, every attempt will fail. Because after months of putting up with their utterly vile bullshit, Americans will cheer as ruthlessly effective and laser-focused efforts by the Justice Department and the Department of Defense. No, I'm with the Sheriff's Office, I swear. Stop their chaos cold. See Reinl. President Trump did deploy the United States military as the enemy wanted to cause further divisiveness and chaos, but not as they expected. Covertly, they are assessing and assisting the feds and only act when absolutely necessary, like when they're picking up Chinese tourists. June 1st, Jennifer Zhang tweeted, "Rioters outside the White House, man says in Mandarin Chinese, go, go, hurry up, leave quickly. The Chinese are involved." Or stopping foreign operators who were literally engaged in burning down U.S. cities. They called St. Paul PD to come pick up the vehicles. The "they all ran away successfully" is a cover story. They ran into a shallow grave or an oubliette. Sucks to be them. Oubliette is French for dungeon. They may be unhinged acts of violence carried out by jokers who snap as their cherished dream of a Trump defeat dies before their eyes. So, in the coming days, be mindful of that. Nothing can stop what President Trump and his dedicated professionals have prepared. What you cannot plan for or stop are individuals determined to wreak havoc. All law enforcement, or we, can do is respond to it fast and as fast as possible to mitigate the harm. For the next 6 months, you will watch President Trump strangle the systemic chaos being created by Democrats, those governors or mayors who won't or can't stop tyrannizing Americans trapped in their deep blue hellholes will begin to bleed out before our eyes as the federal government begins to slash them to death with 1,000 cuts of criminal and civil actions for their innumerable crimes. As the heat builds, the ones who can will self-correct and end their oppression. Those who don't, get more popcorn ready. As Americans who trusted President Trump are rewarded with incredible science fiction levels of prosperity, you will see what Papa Bear does to the wolves who threaten his family. That's his actual family by blood. And us, the larger American family whose guardianship he's taken up. People will shudder and thank their lucky stars they're on the right side of humanity as they see what befalls those who struck out at us. Oh, and by the by, here's a message by a man who's dedicated 3+ decades of his life as our guardian. My rage at what those 1,000 vile adjectives did to him and his family won't lessen until those responsible face meaningful consequences. General Flynn tweeted, "Our media will spin a disaster scenario over the coming days. They want to crush your morale and make you believe that your rightful vote doesn't count. While we have wild enthusiasm on the side of light, we hear crickets from the dark side. Your vote matters, so vote." Those consequences are inbound. Huntergate is just the beginning of Trump's counterpunch. Rudy Giuliani is on fire right now, a fire that will build to such heights it can't be ignored or censored. Big tech is desperate to win the PR war. Let them. Energy fighting that? Wasted energy. The victory I'm talking about will be on the only battlefield that matters, the one in court. That is what Giuliani is doing, prefacing and previewing what evidence will be entered to prove the Biden's corruption. And by that time, outlets and platforms serious about survival will begin covering it semi-honestly. Listen to Rudy here. Link in the thread. Rudy has been activated. He's enraged. Ask anyone who knows him how often he's ever spoken like that. He's horrified by Joe Biden's criminality, horrified and angry for us and America. This is righteous anger. Make no mistake here, Biden is finished. He's done. Stick a pitchfork in him. Big tech did not, I repeat, did not shatter itself on the juggernaut that is the USS Trump to try and save Dementia Joe. They did it to protect the exposure of the corruption machine that they're all tied to. In late October of 2020, you may have no idea what this means. By May and June of 2021, you'll have a very clear idea what was going on during this decades-long silent war that was being waged worldwide and on our very streets. and you will thank our Creator for President Trump. As those who tried to collapse America are held accountable by a restored Justitia, and our guardians protect us from the deranged and demonic they've raised up, what I'll call the Soul War will begin in earnest. Armageddon of the land will end. Armageddon of the soul will begin. We will fight humanity's last battle within rather than without. As the forces of chaos rage outside our splendid wall, we will celebrate a Pax Americana whose rippling impact worldwide will end chaos's reign over the globe. And then the stars await. To donate any amount of money to support Brent Cates' works, donate any amount at paypal.me/Brent Cates and link in the thread to the Americana Rising merch store.
I will be the greatest president that God ever created.